Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a comedy and fantasy film called Beetlejuice. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In a charming country home, married couple Barbara and Adam Maitland spend their vacation at home. The happy couple joke around but stop when Barbara's cousin, Jane, arrives. Jane eagerly tells Barbara that she got an offer on their house. Barbara turns her away, not interested in selling her home. But Jane insists that the house is too big for a couple without children. The notion has Barbara worrying how she and Adam have no children. Seeing her saddened face, Jane apologizes. Barbara directs her cousin out the door and says goodbye. Adam opens the window in the basement but sees Jane peeking in, telling him about the offer. Adam tells her no and shuts the blinds. Then, he asks Barbara to go to the store with him to pick up some supplies. The couple gets in their car and drives to town. Barbara mentions how Jane thinks their house should be for a big family. Adam jokes that maybe they should try starting one during their vacation. They arrive at their hardware store, where Adam quickly gathers the supplies he needs. As they're driving back, Adam asks Barbara if she'd rather spend their vacation somewhere else, but she's happy to stay at home. Adam spots a dog on the road, forcing Barbara to swerve to the side. The car drops into the river with the couple still inside. Back at home, Adam and Barbara enter, soaking wet. They sit close to the fireplace to warm themselves. The fire bursts for a moment, startling the two. Barbara sees her fingers lit as if they were candles. She shakes the flames away, confused that it didn't even hurt. With no memory of how they got back to the house, Adam decides to retrace his steps. He exits the house only to land on a strange desert with a giant sandworm closing in. Barbara pulls him back up the house, telling him that he'd been gone for 2 hours. Inside the house, Barbara shows him that they have no reflection in the mirror. Then, she points to a book on the side table titled Handbook for the Recently Deceased. With all the strange things happening, Barbara concludes that they didn't survive the car crash. After the revelation, the couple turns to the book for answers. Instead of spiritual answers, the book bears technical instructions which confuse them. Beneath the house, a strange figure reads the paper, taking particular interest in the Maitlands listed on the obituary. In the attic, Barbara cleans the house but gives up. She complains that there's no one to explain to them what's going on. Adam suggests that they might be alone in heaven, but Barbara retorts that heaven shouldn't be dusty. They hear a car from outside and spots Jane with her son, mourning for them. Adam tries to get her attention, but she doesn't notice. Barbara gets frustrated at the book, but Adam suggests that they have nothing to worry about since they're dead. Unbeknownst to them, Jane has already sold their house. On the next day, the Maitlands wake up to a loud rumbling. The new homeowners have arrived, a real estate developer, Charlie Deetzes, his new wife Delia, and his daughter, Lydia. Charlie is excited to live in a countryside home, but Delia is displeased. Delia's mood lightens when her interior designer friend, Otho, arrives to help her renovate the house. Hearing the family's conversation downstairs, Barbara laments that they're being punished. But Adam is optimistic, plotting a plan. Delia and Otho mock the house and mark areas to make changes. They open the closet in the bedroom and turn the light on. Inside, Barbara is hanging by her neck, then pulls off her skin to add to the scare. Delia and Otho gasp and comment on how small the closet is. They do not see Barbara at all. The two move on to the office, where Adam's headless body is on the floor. Barbara stands beside him, holding his head in one hand and a knife in the other. Again, the two don't see them. Charlie jumps in, surprising Delia and Otho. Charlie and Delia argue about the house, with Delia insisting on redecorating. Charlie gives up and asks to at least leave the office as it is. Hearing that Otho and Delia are heading to the attic, Adam's headless body quickly rushes upstairs and locks the door in front of them. In the office, Barbara is tired of seeing the people invading their house. She heads to the back door and jumps into the desert. Adam follows her and spots the giant sandworm coming after them. The monster opens its mouth, but Barbara punches it on the nose, making it recoil. The couple goes back inside, escaping the monster. That evening, the Deetzes have takeouts for dinner, much to Delia's disappointment. Charlie promises Lydia to turn the basement into her darkroom while Delia complains about her stepdaughter's mournful attitude. Charlie remains optimistic about their new home, and Lydia admits that she likes how the house is now. But Delia is stern with her decision, telling them that they'll get rid of everything in the house by tomorrow. On the next day, Barbara and Adam watch their house get torn apart. Delia commands the workers while Lydia takes photos outside. Adam sifts through the handbook, hoping to find something that can help them. A piece of paper falls from the pages, advertising a bio-exorcist named Beetlejuice. In the kitchen, Charlie prepares his tea, looking forward to a relaxing day. But one of Delia's sculptures crashes onto the window. The sculpture then drops, cornering Delia onto a wall. Lydia continues to take photos, then freezes when she spots the Maitlands in the attic window. She gets distracted by Jane's car pulling up, and when she looks back to the windows, the figures are gone. Barbara is stunned that Lydia looked at them, but Adam doesn't believe that she saw them. Outside, Lydia learns from Jane that the Maitlands drowned. She hands Lydia the skeleton key to open the attic. Curious, Lydia marches up the attic. The Maitlands rush to block the door, wanting the attic to be untouched. The TV in the attic switches on by itself, showing an advertisement with a man in a cowboy costume, claiming to be Beetlejuice. With the advertisement over, Adam plugs a stick into the keyhole, ejecting the skeleton key from the other side. After Lydia stops, Adam checks the handbook, remembering what to do if there's an emergency. He uses chalk to draw a door on the wall, but Barbara thinks it's silly, wondering if they should try the bioexorcist instead. Once Adam is done, he knocks on the door 3 times and waits. The bricks on the wall open up, pouring green light into the attic, which Lydia sees from the door. The couple holds hands as they enter the mysterious door. Later that day, Lydia interrupts Charlie's birdwatching to tell him about the house being haunted. He shoos her away, hoping to get some peace. Meanwhile, Barbara and Adam enter a strange waiting room with even stranger people sitting around. Adam knocks on the information desk, where the informant complains that they're already asking for help after only 2 months since their deaths. She explains that they have to spend 125 years in their house on Earth and only get 3 sessions with their caseworker for help. Since they don't have an appointment, the informant tells them to wait like the rest. With the Maitlands gone, Lydia finally enters the attic, seeing Adam's miniature town model. Then, she sees the handbook and reads through it. In the waiting room, Adam and Barbara are uncomfortable with the other dead people. The door opens, and a flattened man calls the Maitlands. The couple heads inside and makes their way to an odd funhouse-looking hallway, searching for the 6th door. They pass by a door to the Lost Souls room, where all the exorcised ghosts reside. Adam and Barbara find the 6th door and enter, finding a room with artistic furnishing. Barbara's eyes widen, realizing that they're back home. The Deetzes have changed the interiors entirely. Behind them appears their caseworker, Juno, who tells them that 3 months have passed. The couple explains that they're unhappy about how the Deetzes wrecked their home. Juno scolds them for not studying the manual, telling them that they can get the Deetzes out on their own. When Barbara mentions Beetlejuice, Juno stops her, warning her not to ask for his help. Beetlejuice used to be Juno's troublemaking assistant until he left to be a freelance bioexorcist. Rumors say that he's been living in the Maitlands cemetery recently and will only surface if someone says his name 3 times. Juno insists for the Maitlands to deal with the Deetzes on their own before disappearing. With no other options, Adam is determined to handle things by themselves. When they leave, a fly lands on the cemetery in Adam's model town. A hand reaches out of the grass, offering the fly a candy bar. The fly goes near and gets pulled underground. That evening, Charlie proposes to his old boss, Max, to turn their new hometown into a thriving community. But Max is not convinced, seeing that the town is in the middle of nowhere. Upon ending the call, Charlie hears a moan from outside. He opens the door and sees a figure under a sheet. He scolds the figure, assuming that it's Lydia. In the hallway, Barbara whines about using the sheets as if they're kids playing ghosts. Adam pushes her to continue. In the master bedroom, the couple attempt to wake and scare Delia. But she simply turns the TV off before going back to sleep. The 2 exit the room surprised to see Lydia taking photos of them in the hallway. Lydia mocks them, thinking that it's her dad and stepmom. When she checks the Polaroids, she sees that there are no feet under the sheets. She confronts them, but instead of being scared, she's curious. The Maitlands take off the sheets, frustrated that they can't scare them. Adam questions why Lydia can see them but the others can't. Having read the handbook, Lydia figures that it's because she's unusual. In the attic, the couple explains that they wanted to scare them, so her family leaves the house. Lydia chuckles, knowing that her dad won't let the house go even if it's haunted. Lydia beams at the idea of talking to real ghosts but tells them that they need to practice more. On the next day, Lydia tries to convince Delia about the ghosts, but Delia refuses to listen as she's busy preparing dinner for their guests tonight. In the attic, Adam checks the handbook for other ideas when the model cemetery lights up. Barbara wonders if it's Beetlejuice, and Adam encourages her to repeat his name. After she says it the 3rd time, they're transported into the small cemetery where they find shovels on a gravestone. They start digging into foam and cardboard layers until they reach the coffin. The coffin begins shaking, and Beetlejuice comes out. Scared, the couple runs away, but Beetlejuice flies and blocks their way. He kisses Barbara and asks Adam if he has a chance with his wife. The man annoys the couple until Barbara tells him that they just want people out of their house. When asked if he can be scary, Beetlejuice warps his face, horrifying the two. Barbara pulls her husband away, regretting having called the strange man. Tired of his attitude, the couple makes to leave, but Beetlejuice insists on making a deal with them. Barbara yells home thrice, and finally, they're out of the model. Beetlejuice gets angry, seeing that they're gone. Barbara insists that they can't let Beetlejuice near Lydia. Instead, she has an idea of what to do tonight. That evening, the Deetzes family share dinner with their guests, including Otho, who talks about the paranormal. This prompts Lydia to announce that she'd seen the ghosts in the house, but Delia disregards it as a joke. Suddenly, Delia starts singing the Banana Boat song to everyone's surprise. Delia gets up and starts dancing along to the song. Charlie and the rest of the adults start performing along, much to their own confusion. Lydia laughs at the song and dance number. The adults return to their seats, where their shrimp cocktails turn into hands that reach out and grab their faces before pushing them off their chairs. Adam and Barbara rush to the attic, excited about their successful performance. They check the window, expecting the guests to run out of fear. But nobody comes out. Instead, Lydia tells them that the adults want to meet them. Downstairs, the adults are ecstatic about the event, seeing a financial gain in discovering the ghosts. Lydia announces that the Maitlands refuse to join them, disappointed that they're not scared. Exasperated, the guests leave. Angered, Delia marches up the attic to speak to the ghosts. The door opens, letting them inside, but the Maitlands aren't there. Charlie takes an interest in the model town while Otho takes the handbook. Delia ushers everyone out of the room, hoping that the Maitlands will return if they're left alone. Heading down the steps, Delia's hand slides on the banister, then hears a rattling of the snake. Delia looks down and sees the fence turn into a snake's body that looms over them with a demonic face. The demon snake terrifies Delia and pushes Otho down the steps. It turns its head to Charlie and dangles him by the leg. The frightened Lydia begs for it to stop. The snake drops Charlie to the floor and comes after Lydia, but Barbara finds them just in time. She calls Beetlejuice's name 3 times, forcing him away. Lydia accuses Barbara of the events and leaves. Back at the attic, the Maitlands find Beetlejuice in the model town, confronting him for what he did to the Deetzes. Beetlejuice is frustrated but wonders about Lydia. Barbara picks him up, warning him to leave the girl alone. Suddenly, a demonic bar appears in the model town, filled with ladies. Beetlejuice happily goes in as Adam and Barbara are summoned to Juno's office. In Juno's office, Juno berates them for getting themselves photographed, releasing Beetlejuice, and letting Otho steal the handbook. Juno explains that they cannot let the living have proof of life after death. Back at the house, Charlie and Delia dread their meeting with Max. Otho, however, is confident, claiming to be an expert on the supernatural. Inside, Lydia writes a goodbye letter, having decided on throwing herself over the bridge. In Juno's office, Juno pressures the couple to get rid of the Deetzes and asks them what they'll do next time. The couple warps their faces into monstrous forms, satisfying Juno enough to allow them to continue. In the attic, Lydia searches for the ghosts. She hears Beetlejuice from the model town asking her to say his name to summon him. He uses charades to tell her his name, showing her a giant beetle and an orange juice. Lydia finally guesses his name but refuses to say it for the 3rd time, realizing that he's the snake from earlier. In the underworld, Barbara has a change of heart, realizing that she cares for Lydia. They walk back into the attic just as Lydia is about to repeat Beetlejuice. They stop her, but seeing their monstrous forms, Lydia gets scared. Barbara changes back to her human face and learns that Beetlejuice promised to take her to the afterlife to find them. Lydia admits that she wants to die. The couple comforts her, promising that they'll accept her family so she can visit them whenever she wants. Their conversation is interrupted when Charlie and Otho storm in, carrying the model town out of the attic. Downstairs, Charlie presents his supernatural town idea to Max. Seeing that Max is displeased, Charlie asks Lydia to invite the ghosts, but she claims that the Maitlands will return only if they promise not to make fun of them anymore. With Lydia's news dampening the mood, Delia diverts the attention to Otho, who reveals that he has the handbook. Otho asks for the ghost's personal belongings, and Delia gets an idea. Later that night, Otho leads a seance with the Maitlands' wedding clothes on the table. Otho chants a spell, making the lights go out and thunder raging outside. Barbara first appears in her dress, but her body rots quickly. Adam appears in his wedding suit, holding Barbara's hand, but her fingers deteriorate in his touch. The adults are both frightened and in awe. Lydia begs them to stop, seeing that the Maitlands are dying. But Otho has finished the spell, which was an exorcism instead of a seance. Desperate, Lydia runs to ask Beetlejuice for help. He tells Lydia that he can help, but she must agree to marry him to stay in the living world. Lydia cringes at the thought, but seeing that Adam is rotting too, Lydia gathers up the courage and summons Beetlejuice. The model starts to shake, revealing a full-sized Beetlejuice. He releases an inflatable hammer in front of Max and his wife, not noticing the test of strength stand behind them. Beetlejuice slams the hammer down, launching the couple into the ceiling. Beetlejuice releases the Maitlands from the spell before grabbing Otho, turning his clothes into a baby blue suit, scaring him off. Lydia goes to her parents, who hug her protectively. Beetlejuice joins in the hug, putting snakes on Charlie's hand as dowry and changes into a purple wedding suit. He turns to Lydia, who is now wearing a red wedding dress. He summons her as he prepares the ceremony for their union. Delia's sculptures come to life, trapping the parents to bear witness to the union. The Maitlands struggle to get up, weakened from their condition. A small creature appears to officiate the wedding. Beetlejuice stops it from saying his name but lets the ceremony proceed. Beetlejuice pretends to think twice over the marriage but says yes anyway. Lydia tries to say no, but the groom covers her mouth, copying her voice to say yes to the wedding. With their strength returned, Adam says Beetlejuice's name, but his teeth snap off. The dismembered mouth attempts to say the name, and Beetlejuice stomps it away. He sends Adam into the model town, leaving Barbara to say his name. Beetlejuice puts a zipper on her mouth, but she's still able to say his name the 2nd time before being shut with a metal plate. While Beetlejuice searches his pocket for the rings, Adam gets in the model truck. Beetlejuice sends Barbara to the supernatural desert before putting a ring on Lydia's finger. Adam crashes the model truck onto Beetlejuice's shoes to distract him. The ceiling breaks, revealing Barbara, now in control of the sandworm. The sandworm devours Beetlejuice before plunging into the floor. The officiant disappears, and the night is finally over. Months have passed, and Lydia happily leaves school. She returns to the house, which has now been returned to the Maitlands' design. She gives Adam new paint supplies and a photo of the new town hall. Lydia tells them how she refused to dissect a frog at school, then shies away when Barbara asks her about her math test. She smiles coyly, announcing that she got an A. With her excellent grades, Lydia is awarded by the house coming alive with music. Hearing the music downstairs, Charlie smiles, knowing that Lydia did well. Delia scares him with a new sculpture, grinning at his reaction. Meanwhile, Beetlejuice is stuck in the afterlife waiting room where the rest of the souls treat him coldly. He steals a witch doctor's ticket to allow him to be next in line. But the man shrinks his head as revenge. With the Maitlands and the Deetzes living together in harmony, Lydia dances in the air, celebrating her new and happy life. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.